they were house cats who went outside and had a job, and then they had a job inside as well.
Yes.
So yeah, living on 40 acres, you tend to get critters.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
I have little ducks in my. I need to turn these down. I have little ducks in my yard, but so it's a mama, and she's been laying eggs for the last couple weeks, and then I haven't seen her. And so I'm hoping. I know that they don't sit.
Right,
They're
come
still
back.
in the eggs. Yep,
Okay.
and they come back, and so I'm just hoping that she's off gallivanting around.
Hopefully she's off getting nutrients so that when she comes back, she's fully fed and can. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Essence of You. I'm Steph Lokelani, and I am here today with my friend Adrienne Esposito. We met, what was it, last year?
The year before.
The year before.
Yes, the year before.
Yeah,
Yes.
we went with our friend Shelly G to a show at Boise Contemporary Theater.
Yes.
Oh, what was the show called?
I can't remember the name, but I can picture the logo.
Yes.
I can picture everything, and it was riveting.
It was because
yes.
at the end, the audience got to pick the end of the play.
Was she guilty or was she not?
Yeah, and in that moment, our audience was
Macbeth.
The first one. No, not Macbeth.
Wasn't Macbeth.
But you're close.
Yes.
I'll have to look it up.
Macomber.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it. That's right. And Savannah from United Way of Treasure Valley was in it. And I think our group, like our night that night, we were the only ones who said that she was guilty.
Yes.
And so that was the first time she got to act out a guilty, like being guilty.
Yes. Yes. Miss Macomber.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so interesting. I really liked that.
I loved the interaction with the audience. I loved the way they played it out. And I loved that we got to decide as a group and hear other people's perspectives. Kind of gave you the sense of being on a real jury.
It did. It really did.
I was like, oh, this is it. Let's get sequestered. This is awesome.
I'll stay here.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. And then since then, we've gotten to know each other better through different events and stuff.
Yes.
And I'll do a little more of a formal introduction. You are the vice president of WaFd Bank.
Vice president branch manager.
Thank you.
So I have an officer title, but I'm a branch manager.
And you just had a branch open. Yes. I missed the opening. I couldn't make it, but how did that go?
It went amazing. We had such a great community outpour. Both chambers, community, a lot of nonprofits came to support. Ooh. And it was enlightening. I met many people that I hadn't met and then a lot of people that I did know. And we were able to showcase our new high-tech space and really get submersed with community. So,
oh, I love that because another part of your title is AKA Community Ambassador. Yeah. And I did a quick scroll through your LinkedIn. Oh. And you were, in 2025, you were Boise Chamber's Connector of the Year.
Yes.
Tell me what that is. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought you were going to list off these things and I was going to be like, oh no, I'm so embarrassed. I just want to be a little more humble. The Connector of the Year was pretty cool. I had ambassadorship with the chamber. So I started out as a regular ambassador and then I was voted to vice president and then for a year and then president of the ambassadors. And the job of an ambassador is to go out, meet and greet new businesses, do the ribbon cuttings, submerge yourself, learn about them. But then new businesses that aren't aware of the chambers, really bringing them into the fold of the chamber and having them join and utilize the benefits of chamber membership for our local businesses. So I brought the most new business to the chamber for that year, 2025.
Adrienne, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty riveting because a lot of businesses didn't think about the chamber to network with, to grow business with, to advertise with. So that was a pretty neat journey. So
yeah. Well, and the chamber is really beneficial. I was a member. I'm about to sign up again. I just had to take a year off due to budget and everything.
Yep.
But the chamber, like through the chamber, I've done Leadership Boise, and then I was a mentor for Boise Young Professionals.
BYP.
Yeah, and I just reconnected with the chamber due to the upcoming Leadership Boise graduation. I also was nominated for an award, and so I'm going to be going for that.
Is it this year?
Yeah,
So
this
you're in
one.
Leadership Boise right now?
No, I graduated in 2023.
Okay.
But every graduation, they have awards, and past members can win the different awards. And did you win an award too? I was trying to look for that.
nominated for community, kind of like, I don't remember the exact title, like nonprofit community awareness.
That's right.
So yes, and as somebody far beyond deserving won. So I'm ultimately we were out of the whole class, the two of us. So anyway, it was amazing.
That is awesome. Okay, I thought so. And how did you like Leadership Boise?
It was pretty cool. The first year was wonderful, submersing in all the different. I'd never been into like the courthouse, the Supreme Court here. That was wonderful, and then getting to support a nonprofit through getting everything together. So, and I'm currently in Leadership Meridian and graduate next week.
Oh, congratulations!
Is it? Yeah, next Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
That's awesome. I haven't done any other leadership programs through different chambers, only the Boise Chamber. What's the difference between Meridian and Boise?
1 year versus 2 years.
Okay.
Almost the same curriculum, but really submersing yourself in Meridian with a lot of the infrastructure, the ins and outs of the infrastructure in Meridian. Really gave you a good anatomy of, we all drive the roads and we're all like, why don't they do this? Just the infrastructure, getting to talk to a lot of the people that are decision makers and understanding the why, it gives you a little more patience in our growth spurt.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool because we've all watched Meridian grow even if we've only lived here for 10 years, which I've now been here for 21 years, watching all of that grow.
Yeah, what a journey.
I know.
So you were here 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I got here in 96, on the cusp of 96. And incredible. I remember the River Festival. I remember when you can get anywhere in this valley in 20 minutes. 10 minutes maybe, depending on what time of the day. So it's been a cool journey to watch it grow, but I wouldn't go anywhere else right now. I just love it. I love the 4 seasons.
Yes, I do too. So you got here in 96.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's
over
30 years. Yeah, because it's 2026 now.
Yeah, 30 years.
Wow.
So I guess I'm a native, but I'm not a native, right? I always tell people, are you from Idaho? Or people ask me, are you from Idaho? Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah. I mean, I think after 30 years, you can say you are invested.
Absolutely.
Right, invested. I paid taxes here for 30 years. Supported local for 30 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to know, kind of leading from that, I want to know why nonprofits are so important to you, and why are you so community focused?
I was born in New York and would travel back and forth from New York to Vermont, so kind of lived in both places. Got to Las Vegas. My mom decided we'd move to Las Vegas when I was 11. And it was just so big city and hustle, bustle. But when I got here, because of the community, because of all the things that we had here for free, parks, shows, to me, it represented community, family, involvement. And I just really became on this quest to keep it that way. So as big as we get, we still need to be community focused, right? But with growth comes substantial financial burden on true Idahoans.
Yes.
I remember a time, and I want to go back to like maybe 2004 through before, and I'm going to do air quotes, so don't anybody get mad at me, the tank of 2008, because Boise didn't really crash in '08 the way everybody else did. We came a little bit later.
We did.
So we really survived. But as the growth started, the first place I noticed that it really financially impacted were rural communities such as Cascade, Donnelly, and McCall, because those were places that people like us enjoy to go up, and they call it Boise's playground, right? And primarily it was all local people up there. And then as out-of-state people came in and started purchasing, and I understand why people have to sell. I do. And then they started pricing their own families out of homes. So these people who had generational properties, people from out of state came in and bought, and then when they were tired of it and they wanted to sell, those generational people couldn't come back in and buy, or just even local people. And that's when I really realized growth is very healthy, but it also comes with a price. So I feel that some nonprofits in our valley truly help and uplift and give hands up. I'm not a supporter of nonprofit because I believe in just handouts. I believe in giving people back their dignity and their self-worth and helping them not be embarrassed, helping them get back on their feet. And that's why, while I'm on the board for some nonprofits, I do in my heart the ALICE population that the United Way does such a good job in focusing on: asset, limited, income, constraint, and employed. Mommies, daddies, anybody out working every day, they are employed. They are paying their taxes the same way you and I are, and they are struggling. And if they have little children, if their child gets sick and they have no sick time at work, they're one paycheck away from not paying their rent. Or if they're driving to work and they get a flat tire and it's the cost between a flat tire or groceries. This is the population that means so much to me because they are doing all the right things. They're working. They're paying their taxes. They're involved. They're showing up every day, but coming up short. And that's the population that I feel ties directly into every local business here in town, or every business in town, really. Hire local, pay them a living wage, let them earn their dignity back by making enough money through working hard, through showing up every day, telling their friends and families where they work because they believe in it so much, drive traffic to shop, purchase products, services, goods, whatever it is, and then they can get off any assistance that they're on and start paying it forward for the next generation and helping that generation succeed. And that's why I wholeheartedly believe local. I can't stress that enough. Yeah.
I agree with you. The first time I learned about the ALICE population was it was probably maybe 3 years ago. United Way of Treasure Valley asked me to come shoot an event.
Oh.
And they, sometimes I ask very detailed questions, but it mostly is around like how many cameras, what's going to happen, do you have a stage, things like that, not what is your content. Because I know United Way of Treasure Valley. I don't need to ask them what their content is. And so then as I'm shooting it, they were talking about the ALICE population. They had a panel come in and then different speakers and then just this room full of people. And it was called The State of the Treasure Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Were you there?
I was there.
Yeah, 3 years ago at the Stuckel Sky Center.
I was there.
Me too. I wonder if you're in the video. We'll have to go back and look. But that was the first time I had heard about it. And as I'm listening to this and shooting it, and, you know, your thing, like, as I shoot, I'm like, okay, that could be some good content for later. So we'll put that away and try to remember it. But I was thinking, I know so many people. And one of the big comments that they kept saying is, these could be your neighbors. Like, they could be the person that sits in the cubicle right next to you and you don't know that. And that's when it really started to hit home.
Yeah. They could be your neighbors. They could be your employees. They could be family, friends, anybody. The one thing that I always think about when I talk about the LS population and I'm talking to business owners and it's just out in the valley, right? And I think, and when people ask me like, why so much? And I say, well, envision us being in this room right now, or you're at a seminar and we're all sitting at tables and the speaker's up there and the speaker says, all right, everybody, by a show of hands, every one of you out there, raise your hand if you are receiving state assistance. Raise it loud and proud. How many people are going to raise their hand?
Nobody wants to raise their hand.
But if you were in the room and you said, all right, everybody in this room that has a job can pay your rent. You may not have a whole lot left out of that, but you've got your bills paid, you've got your rent paid, and you can go eat out once a week. Raise your hand loud and proud. Okay. Such a disparagement in dignity.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
So I implore every business owner, I want you all to make money. I do. Hands down. You have to make money. But I also want business owners to think about their employees, right? A livable wage. Of course, they have to earn it. I'm not saying, hey, call out sick 3, 4, 5 times a week, give them a no, that's not what I'm saying. Pay what you would want to be paid if you were your employee doing that work. And teach them to work the way you work. Teach them to have the sense of ownership and the pride in the company. Raise up the next generation of maybe entrepreneurs 5 years after working with you. Or so, yeah. Be part of the solution.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. And especially that living wage piece. Here in Idaho, I know that minimum wage is still, $7.25? And I remember when we got that raise because I was working a minimum wage job. I was 28 years old. I had just closed my first business I ever had, which was not what I do today. And the only job I could get was flipping burgers at the zoo.
Like $5.50 an hour or $5.85 an hour.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then minimum wage raised, and we were so excited. That was like 2008 or 2009. It's still the same. And it's 2026.
Yeah. And a 1-bedroom apartment's $2,000 a month if you can find it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So that's my why on nonprofit. And I think, of course, I support many of them, and they have to actually, for me to really be invested and involved, has to speak something to my heart, right? And I do encourage everyone to volunteer somewhere. Time, talent, treasure. It's not all about money. It's about your talent. What can you give and bring, or connect them with other resources? And of course, volunteering, because there's nothing more humble than volunteering.
No, I agree.
It's a sense of pride, like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. Look what I've been able to do with
100%.
Yeah.
Look and then when you see the recipients of who you're helping, heart melting.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And across the board in the valley.
Yeah. Well, and across the state.
Oh.
Last year, I got to go with Idaho Community Foundation, and we traveled the state to meet nonprofits, like all the way up to Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, really?
And meet other nonprofits and other philanthropists and find out what they're doing in their communities and how people are supporting each other up there. And then we took all that content and we've created a couple of different campaigns out of it. But one thing is for certain is that everybody, like, while everyone's missions are different, their mission is the same in that we are here to support our community.
Yeah.
And do our best to give people, either help them with their housing or help them in the arts or in sports or anything like that. And we got to meet some incredible people around the state. It was pretty cool.
I love that. And a lot of rural communities, while there's less population, they're harder hit.
Yes.
Because there's less resources.
Yeah.
Right? So all the more to do. And that's why I think I love what I do for work, because it ties directly into the business community. I get to be shoulder to shoulder with business owners and meet new business owners. And when I do, I get to know who's hiring so that when I'm out and about, I get to connect. So it's a win-win.
I love it. Well, as I was scrolling your LinkedIn to find the 2025 Boise Chamber Connector of the Year, I was like, wow, she posts a lot. Oh, look at all these job postings, which is so awesome because you're sharing all this information that other people are putting out there.
Yeah.
Your bank might not be hiring, but you've
Somebody
got all.
else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have to, I think it's just reciprocal, right? I think no matter what we do, if we're paying it forward in some aspect or paying it in arrears, right? Both. Paying it back and paying it forward and helping somebody else connect with employment or, we live in a good place. We need to keep it that way.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think the growth is hindering us. I just think we need to look at it from a different lens.
I agree. Yeah, because too many people complain about the growth.
Yeah.
But there are good things that come out of that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's taxes. Well, our taxes are a necessary evil, right? You do need road repairs. You need schools.
Yep.
You need all these services. You need police, fire. You have to. You need water.
Yeah.
You need sewer services. So, be a part of the solution.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. Tell me about your journey that brought you to this moment today. And start back as far as you want to.
A moment sitting in this chair or a moment in what I do?
Let's go with moment in what you do.
So wow. Okay. So I didn't start out in banking in my career. While I've been in banking now about 14 years, I started out in the restaurant industry, which I do advocate that everybody should start out in a restaurant doing some sort of hospitality. It will give you, if you do it for the right reasons, like absorb the things that you can learn, it will teach you humility.
Yes.
It will teach you customer service. It will teach you communication skills. Too often right now, our youth and even so many adults are stuck in the scroll hole. They can't even talk anymore. They're texting and they're hiding behind this phone. I think being in the service industry kind of puts you on the stage, if you will.
It does.
Right? So I did that. I worked my way up into management and really had a great wild ride. But every great ride has to stop because I don't think I saw a Saturday and Sunday off in 20 years, And so for me, I missed a lot of family time, which I'm really sad about. I missed a lot of events for my grandkids. I missed a lot of events for my own kids before I had grandkids. So then I had this bright idea, banking. It's glamorous because you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. No, I didn't. I've only worked in two financial institutions here locally in the Valley. And one of them was open on Saturday. So I wound up working every Saturday.
Oh, geez.
For the next almost decade. But I had every Sunday off. So there was a win. Like, I was like, that's the win. And then I realized, okay, quality of life now. Like, I've paid my debt.
Yeah.
I've paid it now. I'm ready for the weekend. And I found WaFd Bank. And it has been an incredible journey because WaFd Bank allows me and allows all of the managers the autonomy to run your branch as if it were your own branch. Yes, there's federal guidelines and laws and financial things. Okay, take that out of the side. I can be in community really 90% of my time. And I can be out there helping business owners, learning their businesses, volunteering in their businesses, volunteering at these nonprofit events, and helping them with their business needs, right? Like, that's what I do. Helping them bridge those gaps so they can keep their employees and do all these things in community, and let entrepreneurs wake up in the morning not stressed out saying, I don't know if I can make payroll today. Oh, yes, I can. I can make payroll today. Adrienne's got me until my busy season rolls around. So for me, what led to this moment right now was a journey in banking that started out extremely transactional, just sitting at a desk, transactional, people flooding in, not a shortage of people walking in and out, in and out. And then after the first year, you get your feet wet and was like, I can help these people. Wow. But I couldn't leave the building. And, and so I can only help whoever came in. There was no outreach. And then 5 years ago, when I came here and I got to do this pour of outreach, my first year, I was like, no, wow, how do I find these people? And organically, it was meant to be. And now I wouldn't be anywhere else but side by side in the business community, just getting to watch them grow. So my business card, I made a new business card, and not company approved for whoever listens to this, went out on my own and made this business card because I felt like my card really needed to represent the business owner since I'm in the business community. And so one side is my information. The next side, and I think almost everybody has seen this, there's a little tiny kitty cat, beautiful cat, staring into water, to a puddle. And it's black and white, and gray and white, black. And it's staring into this large puddle. And in the puddle, it sees its reflection, and it's a mighty tiger.
Ooh.
And so it's the mind, and then in the middle of it, it says mindset. Because who in their right mind, other than an entrepreneur, and you are one, so I'm speaking about you, right? You went to bed one night thinking, I think tomorrow I'm gonna grab a camera and I'm gonna go take some pictures. And you know what? They have value. And then I'm gonna take pictures of people who want their message out, or I'm going to create a film, and I'm going to go to bed tonight. I'm going to really think about it. I'm going to dream about it. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to go brush my teeth. And in the mirror, I woke up a tiger, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this dream. But wait a minute. Am I going to be able to feed myself? Oh my gosh, I have rent. Oh, I have a car payment. I got to buy that camera lens? No way. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. And sacrifice everything for the thing. Whoa, what kind of mindset does an entrepreneur have, right? That's a kitty cat to a tiger mindset. So these are the people in the community. So my journey now is trying to find out the why. Like I always ask everybody, when you go into a networking room, like, hi, I'm so-and-so. What do you do? What do you do? Or the weather. It's like this small talk. No, like, hi. Oh, Stephanie, what do you do? But more importantly, why do you do what you do? And I asked you that.
You did.
The why. Like, I want to know your why. And I couldn't imagine being the spouse of an entrepreneur, or vice versa, my spouse. And all of a sudden, one day you're at the kitchen table having breakfast, like, well, enjoy your meal today because I really can't go shop tomorrow because we're going to go on a journey. And those are the people that I want to be side by side with. I want to hear their why. I want to be on their journey. I want to drive traffic to their journey. and hopefully support our community while doing it and keep our state incredible.
I love that. So then tell me your why. Why are you so passionate about this? Because you can hear it in your voice. And if anyone's watching, you can see how much you light up when you talk about this.
So I got married when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the faint of hearts, not for everyone. And I'm still married. So tomorrow is 42 or 41 years. 41. Tomorrow's 41 years. So I got married May 6th, 1984.
Oh my goodness.
And so we're still married. So we were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to debunk what people might think, yes, I was pregnant. So I just put that out there because I think it's an important message that I had options, but I chose, I don't want to say I chose the higher option. I chose the option that aligned with my faith, with myself. I took a hard journey.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I was 21, 20 days after my 21st birthday, let me rephrase that. 20 days before my 21st birthday, I had my fourth baby.
Oh my goodness.
So I was 21, 4 kids.
Wow.
So we were the Alice population.
Yeah.
I lived it. I lived that. So I lived that journey when being on assistance was very publicly known and not by social media or anything.
Yeah.
It was just known.
Yeah.
And it was so degrading. And I mean, I can sit here and visualize being in welfare offices with 100 people in there, big, packed, crammed in, and you're sitting in front of a interviewer saying, do you really need food stamps? No, I'm sorry, my 4 kids don't need to eat.
Yeah, no, they're
I'm here
fine.
because I'm excited to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. And I'm at a point in my life, thank God, that I don't have that problem now. And I probably eat out way more than I should. So for me, I don't want those people to experience what I did. And if they are experiencing it, I want to support those businesses that can pay them more or meet in the middle with insurance benefits or, other benefits that don't necessarily have to be monetary, but help them monetarily, right? Without it being just cash. Paid vacation or holidays or sick time if their kids get sick or the ability to work hybrid if needed to be, if a child was, broken leg and couldn't go to school because they're 5 years old or something. Mm-hmm. That's the why, because I lived it. And I'm so thankful that I don't now. And if somebody would have said to me 40 years ago, raise your hand if you're on assistance. No way. I'd have found the nearest rock and slithered underneath it. So I want to give those people back their dignity, or at least help their journey, right? Help in it. Like, is it avoidable that, and I don't know what the population is in Idaho of who, I don't have those stats, right? Places like the United Way do. Mm-hmm. Have how many people are, but I want to say at an event I hosted 2 weeks ago, I love the United Way and people always come out to the events. And I think she said it's like 51% of Idaho is like classified as Alice population. So when you're already up to 50%, that is your neighbor. That is your coworker.
Yeah.
And what can we do to make that a little bit better? And I'm not saying everybody needs to go out and just write a check and open your wallet to the world. We all work because we want the nicer things in life. But when we can, where we can, the differences that we can make, we should.
I absolutely agree with you. And listening to your story reminded me of a story my mom told us. So we grew up in Hawaii. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And my mom told us that one time they went to the welfare office to try to get food stamps. And I think my dad made just a teeny tiny bit too much. And so my mom got turned away. And it was heartbreaking, and it made her feel less than human, because really she was like, then how am I going to feed my kids? And I remember eating pork and beans all the time. Rice is a staple in Hawaii anyway. So every night we had rice. Chicken, I don't eat meat at all anymore, but chicken was one of the first to go because I was like, I cannot even touch this
meat,
anymore.
Right?
Exactly. And so that's how we grew up. And yeah, I agree. And again, going back to when I first heard about the Alice population, I started thinking about my upbringing. And so it's beautiful what you're doing, because you don't want people to grow up the way you did and live the way you did.
No, you want to pay it forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, and I'm not going to pronounce. How do you pronounce Hawaii properly if you're not from the mainland?
Oh,
I mean, if you're from the mainland.
If you're from the mainland, most people say Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not. How did you say it?
I say Hawaii, but it's really like the very proper way to say it is Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yes. The W, so it's pronounced, there are two different ways to pronounce W. If W is in the middle of a word, it's a V. So Hawaii.
Hawaii.
But Waikiki is with the W sound. It's not Waikiki, it's Waikiki.
Waikiki.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Waikiki on our 30th anniversary.
Ooh.
And we spent 7 or 8 days there. And I noticed something truly intriguing about Hawaii.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. A lot of people think glitz, glamour.
They do.
We're just going to go there, and it's just going to be this tropical island, and everybody's going to be so happy, and it's got to be incredible to live there. But nobody really thinks about, not much is grown there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all shipped in.
Uh-huh.
There's a cost of doing business to get all of those items on the island. There's limited resources for any catastrophic event. And because it is so tourist heavy, and these are my own observations, because it is so tourist heavy, the tourism has taken away from the localized field and has taken away from the beauty of affordability for the local people. And not that I'm not saying don't go visit Hawaii, because I'd go back in a heartbeat. But I think when we're there, we have to be very respectful of the resources, not to be wasteful with water or any resource there, or to buy something and then just toss it away and be so negligent. It cost a lot of money to get that item there.
Yes.
And when you take things off the shelves that you think you're going to go eat and do, but then you're only there for a week and then you throw it away in your hotel room, that was a main staple that a local could have purchased.
Yeah.
And it made me think differently. I saw a high population of homelessness that I would have never dreamed of had I not been there. I was mesmerized because I was the typical mainland person that just thought unicorns and rainbows. But those people have a real life there.
Yes.
And affordability is challenging for them.
It really is. So my family left in 89 because they couldn't afford to stay there any longer. And my dad said he wanted us kids to have a better life. And so that's why we moved to the mainland. We went to the Seattle area, which is where my mom's from, and my grandma lived there. My cousins, so there are 4 cousins and from my dad's sister and then us 4. And we're all about the same ages.
Okay.
And the 2 youngest girls have left Hawaii. The youngest one, Joy, she just moved to Vegas, I think last year. And her sister Jocelyn has now been there for a few years. And it's because of affordability. They can't afford to live there anymore. And so they decided to leave the islands. And it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
because it was heartbreaking for us. And I was just in elementary school when we left. But my family, who's been there their entire lives, that's all they know. They didn't leave, like they chose to leave, but they were nearly forced out anyway, because you can't afford to live there with children. And yeah, things don't grow out because it's an island. They grow up. And you can only go so far up.
So native to Hawaii or military?
Native, all native. We actually just learned a couple of years ago that we're direct descendants of King Kamehameha.
No way.
Yes. We did not know that. And you go about your life
royalty.
And I am.
For real, you're
For real.
royalty.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, you go about life and you're like, wouldn't it be cool if we were related to the king? And then all of a sudden you see it in a family tree and you're like,
and there's not land that's lineaged down to you?
There is, but it got caught up in our papa. So my dad's dad. So me, my dad. So that generation, papa's generation. We have land, and I've seen the paper. It's been signed to like 12 different kids of his generation. Now think about all the kids they had, and then all the kids they had. And so there's a whole slew of us that could fight over that land. Yeah.
Gotcha. I love that. Like, I think that is like, you need to make a tagline, like direct descent. Honestly.
I should.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear that, because isn't that even more heartbreaking that you are a native, but yet you're driven out of, and that's here in America.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Put that into perspective, right? Like, could you imagine being driven out of Seattle? Or, although, I mean, there are people that are being driven out of cities due to cost of living. So housing, whatnot. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of local Idahoans that have had to leave as well, or more generational housing now.
Yeah, I agree. Because I saw a statistic, and I'm not going to try to quote anything because I don't remember it, but Idaho is now like one of the most expensive places to live after California.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of the people who did grow up here, because I know what that feels like. And they either have to leave or, they're living in multi-generational housing, which is what my family has done, until you're like, okay, I can't live with my tutu anymore. That means grandma.
Yeah.
Love her, but I think that was my dad too. He was like, I'm not living with my mother.
Idaho affordability, so housing, wages. Housing, wages, right? Affordable housing, I don't even know what affordable housing is now. I mean, I really don't know. I don't do mortgages, so I actually don't even know right now, like, what is an affordable rent for someone who makes $20 an hour? A single person making and I say just $20 an hour because pre-COVID, $20 an hour, you were living high on the hog.
Oh, yeah.
Very affordable. Yeah, that's all you needed.
Yep.
You can afford two people on $20 an hour. Now,
you can.
After taxes, $20 an hour, you need 3 roommates.
Yeah.
You need 4 people making $20 an hour to be able to afford rent, gas, electric, your cell phone bill, and transportation to and from work. Whether that's city transportation, carpool transportation, it doesn't matter. There's a cost to get to work.
There is. And actually, speaking of city transportation, did you hear recently, I think Boise is giving like high school kids, they get to ride the bus for free?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The city bus.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
And I just thought that was awesome.
The city bus, not to get to and from school, just in general, to keep them off the road, like to reduce some of the driving.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Think about that as a teenager. Hey, let's go hop on the bus, take a ride downtown, get on and off each different stop. Like, that would be a field day for me. Like, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would get people talking again.
It would.
Like, community on the bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you going? Oh, this is my stop. I'm going to check out this place or that place.
Exactly. I wished we did have a very robust, I'm not saying we don't have great transportation, but like inner city robust transportation, because there really is nothing more fun than hopping on a bus or a train, like being originally from New York. There's a different feel, you know.
There is.
And there's a hustle. You got to pep in your step to get to that stuff. People have to be very disciplined to ride public transportation.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're on a schedule. They don't stop for you.
No, they don't.
Poof. Wait. Nope, it's not happening.
Nope. Yeah, I remember taking the bus and living in Washington. Me and my high school friends, we would bus from the town we lived in, which was Federal Way, up to Seattle sometimes. Oh. And that was just so fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wonder, I'm now that I'm looking back and I am older, much older, and I have grandkids that they all drive, all except one. I have a grandson who, my youngest is 12 and the oldest is 20.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and it goes 20, 18, 18, well, 19, 20, 19, 18, 16, and then 12. So I'm trying to think, like, would they get on public transportation? Although I do think, I don't want to say kids are spoiled, but I want to say that they have opportunities now that perhaps my kids did drive at 16, but their first cars were $500 cars that be a crapshoot if it started in the morning, you know, and then they'd pile all their friends in there and everybody was appreciative.
Oh, yeah.
Because not everybody can have a car,
yeah.
you know, and, but I think the standards have changed now. So as I'm thinking about myself, would my grandkids get on a city bus? I don't know. But yeah. I mean, my grandsons, maybe my granddaughter, I don't know how I would even feel about her being on a bus with just girls nowadays. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in that position because I grew up in the era where they had to have TV commercials saying, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? No, they didn't know where we were. So, but now I think there's such a heightened awareness, thankfully, to social media, to different kind of news. I mean, before we can only get news at the 5 a.m. news, the 6 o'clock, everybody, 6 o'clock news coming on. You got to see what's happening in the city. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Different era.
Very different era.
And I don't want to speak ill, but I do think that a lot of the younger generation now have a sense of entitlement that my kids didn't have because we didn't have anything to be entitled to or feel entitled of as far as fancy cars or cell phones or, you know, we'd have to track our kids down by calling every parent, you know, or, you know, they'd have to stop at so-and-so's house to call to check in and different way of life.
It is. And I think, unfortunately, social media has played a huge role in that because everybody's comparing themselves to others. No matter where you live, you are seeing the social posts of people who don't live in your town.
Yeah.
And so then you have to buy that specific type of car or that specific type of outfit or makeup or something like that. And no, we didn't grow up like that at all.
No. My hat's off to my own children and to anyone who is a parent during the age of social media in this height that we're in. And I would say, did it start like right around COVID? Well, I think we got more in tune with social media during COVID. Was it already there? Yes. But hats off to parents who are navigating what I don't think I would be strong enough to navigate right now, meaning young girls seeing this body dysmorphia from social media is insane. I see too often, and I'm going to speak in generalities and not about any specific person, too often I see these young girls are putting so much emphasis on looks only clothing or lack of, and they're forgetting that they're beautiful here.
Yeah.
Or they can be beautiful here and here. And I think they're losing sight of what they could really give and offer to another person, to community, to the elderly even, versus wanting to be so noticed for body parts, for whatever. I don't know if I can navigate that and stress the importance enough of find your self-worth. It's not in your exterior. Do I think you need to be healthy? I do. And then the bullying. And I think that boys, and I don't think we give enough credit to boys. I think boys have body dysmorphia too.
Absolutely.
I don't think this is a gender specific. Social media warfare is not gender specific. It's not age specific. It engulfs everyone. And I think there's a lot of bullying, a lot of comparing, a lot of entitlement, a lot of I wished I had, or they're so lucky, or and not enough true conversating. And I think a lot of young adults take their self-worth on opening up their social media and how many likes they got, how many hearts they got, did somebody comment? And then you can see who's looking at your profile. So, did he or she look at my, they did. And we're losing sight of education. We're losing sight of volunteering, of community, and family. Most importantly, family. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about social media. I use social media as a tool for and you can look me up, Facebook, LinkedIn. You don't see a personal post. You don't post. My God love, one of my daughters created me a Facebook back, I think when Facebook came out. I don't know. I didn't create it. And so the name on my Facebook is Adrienne Esposito, myself and my husband. And I'm not even savvy enough how to take my husband's name out of it and say, and add the and sign. I don't even know. But I made a very conscientious decision that you don't need to know what I'm eating. You don't.
No.
And you don't. I would never post to my grandkids because that's not my place to post them. In my opinion, it's my kids' place if they want them public. But I use it for a platform for good. Nonprofit, community service, work. That's my platform because as gregarious as I am, and I know that I'm total type A out there, I'll talk to anyone. But my personal life is actually my personal life.
Yes.
So I never bought into any of that. But I'm not saying that my family members haven't, right? And I just think, I think there was less, I wish there was less emphasis on that and more emphasis of finding your tribe and just really engaging with it. Because as I'm getting older, I now know the value of the one thing the richest person in the world cannot buy, which is time.
Yes.
No amount of money. And all this time that these young people waste on, did he like it? Did she look at it? It's going to be so insignificant when you get older. And all you want is more time.
Yeah.
And enjoy.
It breaks you down too, when you focus on, did that person like this or that, or comment or something like that, it starts to really whittle away at your mental health too, because you're constantly wondering. And it reminds me of if you would call someone when you're young and have to leave a message and you're like, oh my gosh, did they get my message?
Was it good? Oh my gosh. Oh, so-and-so left me a voicemail. And you save it,
Yes. Yes, and that's not nearly as unhealthy as posting something and hope someone's liking it for you.
Well, because I think you're numb to it.
Yeah.
Back in the day when someone left you a voicemail, or even when we did get cell phones and somebody texted you, it was like it wasn't the way it is now,
No.
right? But now it is there's no more giddiness, really. I mean, there is, but it's not, it's a different kind of giddy,
Yeah.
right? Before, I would see my daughters and even my sons, when they were teenagers. And so when somebody would call, like if a girl called the house for one of my sons and one of the daughters answered the phone, I'd be like, oh yeah, Adam, whoever it is, so-and-so's on the phone and she loves you. And give me that phone and get out of here, And then it created that hello, right? And now I think we're numb. It's like, oh yeah, oh, I knew they'd like that. Of course they liked that, And I think it's a little different. I don't know.
It is.
I mean, I think social media is a crazy topic, right? Because we all have personal convictions of what should and shouldn't be on social media and their personal preferences. And we all have freedom of speech, and I'm all for that. Truly, I love freedom of speech. I don't necessarily love freedom of body parts, but none of my business.
Yeah.
Again, right? Still none of my business. But I think, and maybe I would love to see people put a little more character into social media for good, right? Like posting positive things or really making those comments to the people that do post their life story on there that might be struggling and giving an uplifting comment or more so, right? I don't know. Social media is a weird topic.
It is a very weird topic.
Very touchy too, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Well, and especially coming at it from people who are our age where we didn't grow up with it. So we have this lens, like we're able to kind of back out of it and look at it from afar. Oh, yeah. But I think about like my nieces and nephews, which I don't think they have social media, not that I'm aware of. But I know that it'll happen. They're all in elementary school right now. And eventually they're going to be older, obviously. And I do worry about what that could do to them and their mental health.
Right. I'll say this, and it might not be the views or opinions of some, many, I don't know. But when I see people post selfies that they've taken of themselves in a mirror, in barely any clothing, and very made up, I would love to ask and understand the why. Why, as a young female or a young male, why do you put yourself out there for others to look at you without knowing you and to just look at anatomy only and grade you on a scale of 1 to 10 on just anatomy? You could be a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
And they actually wouldn't care. They're just looking at the anatomy. I would like to know the why. What do you want out of that? And if you are a female and you're doing that, and then somebody walks up to you and makes a vulgar comment and says, "Oh, I saw your post. You have very nice bleep, bleep, bleep." And you're like, ew. But you put it out there for sale.
Out there.
Right. You put the picture for sale.
Yeah.
And the same thing vice versa. I don't understand the why that you gain from that. And again, that's an older person's lens who don't have to manage a teenager's social media or a child in their 20s. My youngest child is in their mid-30s. So I don't have that, right? So I would love to be in a room in a high school and just ask, not judging. I just want to know the why.
Yeah. It would be interesting to know. And we can make as many guesses as we want, but we're not that person.
No.
So we'll never
know.
we'll never know until they until we ask and they tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you why I don't post pictures. Like, you don't want to see that, you know? But yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So many questions.
So many. I know. Well, and I love that when you're asking why, because it leaves the judgment out. It really is I just like with anything, no matter what it is, asking why.
Yeah. You know, I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times people misunderstand, why are you asking me why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, I'm asking why because maybe at this moment in time, I don't agree with you. So I'm asking, why do you think that? Why do you feel that? Why do you advocate for that? What am I missing? Maybe I'm missing something. Give me the opportunity. Well, I'm giving you the open door, the opportunity to persuade me.
Yes.
People don't look at it that way.
No, they don't.
Right? If I ask you why and you're like, well, why would you ask me? Because I do, because that's my stance, or because I said so. Okay, but again, why? Maybe honestly, I'm the one that has it wrong. And in my mind, I thought I had it right, but maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Help me.
Well, and a great example of that is in politics. Like very few of us, when you find out that someone may not have the same stance as you or lean the same direction that you do, your question is why, but it's not to really understand. It's to be like, why, and why should I shut down now and stop being your friend?
Right.
Whereas if you approach it when you're as in asking why to understand more, because maybe I am wrong, like you said, I would love to know what your why is and what your opinions are. And maybe I'll change my mind, maybe I won't, but it's a great doorway.
I love that. And I know that we can't get political, and I'm okay with that.
We can if you want.
Well, my thing on it is exactly what you just said. Teach me.
Yeah.
Educate me.
Yeah.
Educate me without yelling on either side.
Yeah.
Educate me from a stance of statistical. I want real live statistics. I want real live emotion. Show me how it's affected someone positive and negative, and let me make my decision from there.
Yeah.
And I am a fence rider, and I don't mind saying that publicly. I ride a fence because I believe in a host of things, and I support a host of people. So because of that, I want to know why.
Yes.
Why? Oh, I didn't know that was in that bill. Enlighten me.
Yes.
Enlighten me. Educate me. Don't call me stupid. Don't yell at me because I agree or I disagree. There's no reason to name call. Why? It's not going to. I think individuals that come at either side with a loud voice, with a sign saying, you're wrong, I'm right, this is all we will ever do.
Yeah.
And it's with anything, right? It's with everything we do in life, you know? I don't know. I would just love an open dialogue. If we truly are the land of freedom of speech, because so many people have died to give us that freedom.
Yes.
And I think when we silence either side, we are taking the survivors' dignities from the families that passed on behalf of fighting for our rights.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I don't think anybody in that moment of that heated argument thinks somebody died for your right to yell at this other person. Seek to understand.
Yeah.
They wanted to give you a platform. You have it.
Well, and when you do start seeking to understand, you realize that you probably have more in common than you thought. And picking up on that political side, for example, one of the nonprofits that I work for and very closely with is United Vision for Idaho. And what they do is they take the far left and the far right and they give them an opportunity to have conversation together. And through that conversation, what everybody learns is we all want the same things. We all want healthcare. We all want education. We all want a better place for our families to live.
We all want to eat. We all want to work. We all want to thrive. Medical, affordable housing.
Yeah.
And also when we seek to understand anything, we get to then share that narrative. Guess what I learned?
Yes.
Then we get to, if somebody, and I will use the word, converts us to a different way of thinking or enlightens us and opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to anything, either side, we then get to share that maybe with somebody who had the same previous belief as us and say, hey, have you ever looked at it from this lens, and share your why? Maybe they don't agree, but you got to voice that. Or I just think we can share so much more knowledge if we actually lead with good intention instead of trying to be right. Everybody is so focused on, I'm right. What I believe is right. You're right. And they don't even focus on, I'm right. They focus on, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
Yeah.
No. Two things can be true at the same time.
Yes, they can be. And we can learn that every single day.
Every day. Every day. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a matter of, is your glass half full or half empty, right?
I can guess. We're getting close to the end here. So I want to go with that question. And then I have one closing question for you. What is your glass? Is it half full, half empty, or?
It's full.
I thought so.
Yeah,
that's my
full.
guess. Mm-hmm.
Every day that God puts me here, another day to serve, to lead, to mentor. How could you not have a full glass? You can have the hardest of hardships, but you got up today.
Yes.
You were gifted another day. And if you think that way and live that way, there's thankfulness. And then you can share it to others. That's how you could be a light to others.
I love that.
Yeah, it's full.
I love that. And I knew that about you.
The cup overfloweth.
From the first moment I met you, I was like, oh, this lady is just like, you're a ray of sunshine to everybody that you come across. And you bring so much energy and joy. And I love being around you. And while I can't speak for anybody else, I'm going to say they probably do too.
You know, I think if we all had the attitude, and I appreciate you so much, of I get to instead of I have to.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you really quick as we're getting close. I was at a major retail chain, name not to be disclosed.
Okay.
Because I don't want any business, but it's major. It's not a local mom pie. It's worldwide. And so at the checkout counter, and I always read if they're wearing a name tag, I will literally say, hi, Stephanie, how's your day?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
As they're doing it. And inevitably, at this particular location, I usually get the same answer. Well, another hour and I get off work.
Oh.
You know, or something very, very dramatic. And I'll never forget, my husband was with me, and he hates when I do this because he's like, you just talk to everyone. And so I was at this particular place. My husband's with me, and we're checking out. And the cashier, I said, you know, I don't even remember her name, but hi, Stephanie, how are you today? Well, I'm almost done. And I said, with your shift? Like, your shift's almost done? Yeah, I can't believe I had to work 6 hours today. And I said, that is so incredible. You got to work 6 hours today. You got to be here and help others today. And you got to earn a paycheck today. And my husband's kicking me. And she says, well, yeah, I'm here. And I said, did you know what a great alternative is to not coming to work for 6 hours today? And she said, what? And I said, food stamps. That's your alternative, isn't it? Welfare. That's your alternative. No money. That's your alternative. Don't make that your alternative.
No.
Be grateful. You got to come to work today. There are people out there with disabilities so severe that prohibit them from working, but they want to.
They want to.
They want to be needed. They want to be of service. And you have that luxury, and you're dismissing it? No. My husband's kicking me the whole time. It's like, just shut up. And I'm like, stop, you know? And so we get out to the car, and he's like, she's not your kid. You can't do that. And I'm like, but who then?
Yeah.
Like, You are paid to, and that's my point to employers, okay? You are being paid to do that job. That's not the representation they're paying you for. That's why they're not paying you more.
Mm-hmm.
Self-responsibility.
Absolutely. Oh, I could have a whole conversation
Yeah.
about this, but we won't.
Go to the store with me. You will be enlightened.
I'll bring my camera.
Yes.
I love that.
But from heart, like,
yeah.
but from a good place,
Yeah.
I do it. It's like, be happy, be appreciative.
Well, because it enables people to maybe not in the moment,
Right.
but maybe she went home and she really thought about it. And she's like, that lady had something to say.
Right.
And okay, maybe I need to shift my mindset. And maybe the
Right.
next day was the best day of her life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or she was wanting to find my car to slash my tires.
Or that too, yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily you left before her shift was
there's
over.
that. Which then I'd shop local for my tires, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So, final question.
Okay.
When everything external falls away, like our titles and our labels, who are you, Adrienne, at your core?
Well, I've got my answer, and I wear it loud and proud. At my core, I am a servant of Jesus Christ. At my core, I am put here on earth to serve and to serve. Honestly, I am a servant, and I'm proud of that. Proud. And everybody who knows me personally knows I lead with that. I get to do the things that I do because I'm so grounded in my faith.
Mm.
And while I, in my mind, think my faith is the perfect choice, I also have enough respect, and I know that no matter what somebody else believes, feels is their faith, their power, that's their journey. I just know with a resounding yes, that is mine, and I love everyone.
I love that. And I love that you leave it open for everyone to make their own choices
100%.
there as well.
That's their journey.
Yes.
That's their journey.
Yes.
It's my journey to be open and public about my journey as it is everyone else's journey to be open and public about them. Because if we can't even have that conversation, how do we have political conversations?
So
how do we have
true.
work conversations? How do we have any conversation?
So very, very, very true. I love that you put it that way because you're absolutely right. You know, earlier I went the politics route, but religion is also a route where a lot of people don't agree. Yeah, exactly. But to be open about it and to ask questions.
Right.
And we won't get deep into it here, but I was raised evangelical Christian. And so I've seen the other side of what you're talking about. And I absolutely love the way that you are coming at this because it's bright, it's heart open forward, and you know who you are, and you're giving people the opportunity to understand and figure out who they are.
100%. You know, I think first and foremost, I am so rooted in my faith that I know I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury, and I'm not the final decision maker, right? So at no time do I have the capacity to tell you your religion's wrong, your belief system is wrong. Oh, you do that? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't have the right. I mean, I have the right to share what I believe and offer you something different. But at the end of the day, your choices, you are free because you don't answer to me at the end. I still have to knock on that gate, right? It's not my journey. Your journey's not my journey for anybody. And so I so much respect everybody for you have to have your own journey. You have to feel good about the things you're doing every day.
Absolutely.
Your own why.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And understand like what gets you out of bed in the morning and really understanding that. And I've struggled with that question, like what gets me out of bed? My answer has always been my dog and my cats, like
Right.
100% always. But then I had someone say, no, but Steph, what's deeper than your dog and your cats? And I
Yeah.
was like, then I don't know.
Okay. So, and I know we got to cut it short. So I'm just going to do this final question.
Okay.
I was in a very big room
Mm-hmm.
with about 45 to 50 people. And it was a class. And we had to do an icebreaker. And the question was, the moderator, what gets you out of bed?
Oh.
It was that question, because that's always a big question. What gets you out of bed in the morning? And I was about maybe 20th, 25th in the way it was bopping around the room. And people were saying, the first people ahead of me, my dog, my cat, I got to pay the bills, like something. So, I got to go to work, whatever. And so then it comes to me and I said, JC, Jesus and coffee, because if you don't caffeinate me, you don't want to know me. But after that, I heard in the room, I kid you not, when I said JC, Jesus and coffee, I heard gasps of fear, because people are like, oh my gosh, are we allowed to say that? Like, well, I don't know. I am.
Mm-hmm.
You can say whatever you want, right? And then after that, it was like the icebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other people went and then they would put my name in front of it and they'd say, well, to tag on what Adrienne said.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like they didn't want to take ownership. They were scared, but it was a little bit different. To tag on what Adrienne said, I love to do good for people. Well, that's not what I said, but I get it.
Yep.
Right? And so I think there's a little bit of fear because people aren't open yet to having real dialogue. You're wrong, I'm right.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the dialogue.
And that's how we're all raised, basically. And, not putting blame on parents or anything.
Yeah.
That's our society and our culture. And what you did is you gave everybody the gift to rethink the answer to that question.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome and beautiful. And yeah, now my answer is, because I had to do a lot of work to figure out what my answer is.
What is your why? What gets you out of bed?
It's always the dog and the cats because they need to get fed.
Yes, and that is true.
Yes.
And they need to go outside.
And especially the 14-year-old dog, always.
Yes.
But what gets me out of bed is adventure. Every day is an adventure. Even if it's just sitting in front of my computer the entire time, there's an adventure happening on my screen as I'm creating video content or editing someone's headshots. Oh, I'm editing some headshots right now. And the 2 women who stepped into my studio, beautiful. And I am just loving, just touching up, a little flyaway here and there. And it's an adventure in every single one of those photos.
You're getting to follow people's journeys.
Yes.
You're on the journey with them.
Yeah.
When you're creating video content for United Way or anybody else, you're on this journey. You're learning, you're submersing. When you're doing someone's headshot or touch-up photos, you're on this journey because I can just see you at the computer saying, oh, I wonder where they're going to post that. Or they're going to look so good or, right? And then when the person gets it, they're like, oh my gosh, she's shaved off 20 years. Wow, I'm posting that everywhere, right? So you get to add value and joy to others.
Yes.
And you get to live vicariously through others, right? On their journeys, and I know that you've done training videos too for other organizations. So you get firsthand information of their why.
I do.
Why? And am I allowed to say a hospital's name?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so like St. Luke's, right? Mm-hmm. You get to now know some of the training on why we come in contact with so many good people.
Yes.
Or such good practices or protocols so you get to take that adventure and learn so that when you hear somebody say, they had a bad experience with this or that at that place, you get to say, oh, but that's not the norm. I've seen the training videos and that just must have been a one-off. I would say something. Maybe they were unaware. Like you get to give that feedback from such an inspiring lens in the literal sense.
Yes. And thank you for saying that, because you do tend to forget, because it's my job as well.
Yeah.
But it's so true. It is absolutely true. And I think about this, St. Luke's, the training videos, that was so much fun to create. Yeah. And then everything I've ever created for any of the nonprofits, but because we both know United Way of Treasure Valley very well, I've been doing content for them for years, and I have loved every journey that I've been able to take with them. I've been to community schools, like out in Parma. Yeah. We went and toured. I was not at the shoot, but I did edit it. I sent one of my contractors. It was, I can't remember his name, but he was the Secretary of Education for the United States. Oh, he was here in Idaho when United Way got that grant a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, that big
Cardona.
Grant. Yes. Okay. I remember that.
Yeah. And so my colleague got to go take the journey that day while shooting it, and then I got to take the journey as I edited that piece together.
Yeah.
And you get to meet so many people and go on adventures with them and journey and
you get to learn their why, right?
Yes.
And you learn so much so that you're not in the background saying, I wish somebody would just do X, Y, or Z, or why don't they do X, Y, and Z? You get firsthand information on this is why it is the way it is. And yes, we know things need to change, but it is a process, right? Like we all complain about processes. Oh, everything is a process. But if we didn't have processes, everything would be much worse.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Stephanie, I can talk to you forever. Like, I love how in tuned you are with people, what you pick up about people. I love, just so much. I love that you also are so giddy about being on journeys with people when you are working with them. And it's just so cool to see you in action, because you are just so free-spirited and so welcoming that, it's comfortable to be around you.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate
everybody
you
welcome,
saying that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for being here. This was so great. You're going to have to come back because we still have so much more to talk about, I feel like.
I'd love to. Actually, I'd love to, if I come back, I'm going to ask you questions too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. We'll do a question and answer session.
Okay.
Back and forth.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Yeah. We'll schedule that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you all for listening and watching, and join us for the next one.
Thank you.